Schmitz from New You and represent Herbalife. My contact information is 847-226-0246. But one of the things that I want to share today, and I'm going to ask you to share in a couple minutes as well, is how I develop a wellness coach. I said one of my biggest challenges is finding wellness coaches. Well, they don't grow on trees. And people don't just walk up and say, I want to be a wellness coach. And if they do, they really don't know what that means. So the challenge is, how do you develop them? And what I heard a lot of you guys say is you're looking for people to attract to your business for whatever that is. And the challenge becomes, how do you find them, or really, how do you develop them? And I'm going to share with you a story because it tells how it could work for you, and unfortunately, how long it might take. That's one of the frustrating parts. So in your business, for example, finding other people to be in the business with you, not so simple. I've been in the business 8 years. When we got started, we tried to recruit everybody, and they're all gone today. So that's the nature of network marketing, and unfortunately, keeping them and developing them into good coaches in my business is the challenge. So my friend Phil, I've known him for 20 years, and this is the kind of guy who was a UPS truck driver. He drove over the road for years. And he would gain and lose 30 pounds at will, right? Up and down 4 or 5 times. And he finally retired recently, and he's in his early 50s, and he's getting serious. So now he's really lean and really, but what Phil's passion is, he's Italian, so they get pretty excited. He's a softball coach. He teaches catching to kids. And I'm trying to tell Phil for 4 or 5 years, that's a great market for sports nutrition. These athletes need to be fueled to perform well on the team. And so he goes, yeah, but I don't want to sell. I don't want to do this, and all the standard excuses, right? So I said, then bring them to me, and I'll help them. And this has taken a long time. This has been 4 years in the making. And so he brought a friend of his who has 2 kids that want our serious baseball players. This guy, his name's Ryan. He's 17. He wants to get a scholarship into college. He's been to all these different schools, and he weighs 150 pounds. Nobody's going to recruit him at 150 pounds. So long story short, we get him in, we coach him, put him on a nutrition plan, and he starts to very slowly gain muscle, because he needs muscle. And it wasn't working. So I said, and Phil was part of this process to learn how to take care of this kid, right? So he's learning to be a coach, only I'm doing the coaching. And Ryan, we finally put a heart monitor on him for him and his brother for 3 days to see what he was really burning. 17-year-old kid was burning about 4,000 calories a day. Now, if he eats 3,000 calories and he's burning 4,000, there's no way in heck he's going to gain muscle. So we changed his meal plan, and now he's gained 25 pounds of muscle. His pitch went from in the mid-60s to over 85 miles an hour. Now, to me that means nothing, but in the softball business, that's a big deal. How fast they can throw the ball from catching it at home plate to second base is critical. It's got to be under 2 seconds. So this is, now Phil has seen all this. Now he's got a great story to tell. So now he brings in a young girl. She's 13, and the same story. She wants to get to be a better baseball player. And so Phil has now learned how to do it here. He's applying it here. I'm coaching her as well with Phil sitting next to me. And lo and behold, her name is Savannah, her parents come in. I find out the mother was the lifetime biggest winner at Lifetime. She lost 100 pounds. Well, what happens to people that lose 100 pounds?
They gain it back.
She gained it all back. Because she never learned a healthy, active lifestyle. She focused on weight loss. And so Phil's learning to coach her because she will have a phenomenal story. And she's now realizing she needs to be the example for her child. So we'll see. That story is continuing. And now Phil's bringing in another person today, and he's going to do the wellness evaluation. So my point is to develop the people in our business, regardless of your business, whether it's energy or, the Primerica or, it takes time. I wish it didn't. It took me a long time to learn that. It's frustrating, but if you develop those people, they stay. And so I'm sure that some of you have a similar story. You all have many of you have the same challenge I have. So who's got a similar or a win that they could share for today? Somebody must have one somewhere. I know Kevin always has one. But we want to keep Kevin. How about Sherry?
For time and development,
Well, it could be any kind of wind. It doesn't have to be the same story I have. It could be any kind of wind. Because we all learn from someone else's experience. Right? That's what we're here for.
Well, time and development, yeah, I can definitely say I've given my all for my kids. You know, I put the time, I put the development in there, especially, you know, but I learned in the process. I didn't know what autism was until I really had to delve into it, which led me to open my doors, open my world, just because God made me show up to where I needed to be.
Very cool.
So
How does that apply to your business?
How does, well.
What skill did you learn from that might apply to your business?
Not judging people, learning people with disabilities have abilities too. You know, don't just write people off, show compassion.
Okay.
You know, get to know somebody really good, you know, and invest in them.
So that's called building a relationship.
Yeah, and
In simple
I
terms.
wasn't good at it because autism is a family disease, and I was finding out for his autism where it came from, and it came from me.
Interesting.
So learning my children's disabilities, and it led me into the field of GMOs too.
Well, and I'm guessing it allowed you to relate to people in a different way.
Yeah, it taught me some interpersonal skills.
Yeah, very good. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Anybody else?
God bless you. Bless you.
Yeah.
It's
Mike.
wonderful.
I had a woman that was in her early 70s. Her husband had passed away 4 years before that. He had one of those pensions that basically disappeared when he died, and there wasn't much left for the surviving spouse. And of course, she also lost one of their Social Security payments. So she was all of a sudden in a situation where she had a house which wasn't paid for, bills to pay, including trying to pay off a lot of the medical bills from her husband having passed away, and not nearly the cash flow that she had been used to being able to survive on. And no other source of income coming in. She had another woman who was renting a room, trying to make some extra money that way, but basically the credit cards were growing higher and higher because that's the only thing she had to turn to. I'm not a big fan of, what's the best term for this? I'm having a blank. Reverse mortgages.
Okay.
But when there's no other way to fix a problem, it can be useful, but it's an expensive way to do it. But in this case, it really worked. She only had maybe $30,000 left on the house, so we did a reverse mortgage, took the equity that she had from the house. We paid the mortgage off with that so that she no longer had a mortgage that she had to pay each month. We paid off all her credit card bills.
Excellent.
And then we provided the remainder of it became an emergency fund for her. We brought her children in so they understood what was happening, because in effect, by the time she actually passes away, the bank's going to own the house.
Yeah. So there'll be nothing
She's
left
never
for
going to
kids.
have to pay,
Yeah.
repay that loan. She's giving up the home as far as passing it on to her kids or anything else, so they need to know.
But it's a very creative solution for an unusual situation.
She
So
now
that
has
is-
a positive cash flow
Yeah.
where she's
and tremendous stress off her plate.
Yeah.
So, very good, thanks. Anybody else? We're probably gonna move on for time. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
You
me.
got it? No, Kevin said it's
Go ahead.
okay.
Okay. You know, I guess the skill that I learned with from my massage therapy business is really to listen to people. Sometimes it's what they say, but it's also what they don't say. When you're doing an assessment, when you're doing an intake with a new client or something, sometimes it's asking the right questions, because believe it or not, some people forget they had a broken bone or something. It's something in their past they forget of. So it's asking the right questions, but listening to what they say as well as what they don't say. And so, that's really helped me, in my massage business, but it's also helped me in my other businesses to really be other-centered and to really listen to what people say and to really be service-minded and to really be there to, take care of other people's needs.
Excellent, that's great. So if I was to summarize, right, all of those stories are about relationships. They're all about relationships and how you creatively solve a problem, get to know somebody in their situation. You know, you learn from your children and you apply it to life. Those are all relational skills, and so we all are faced with those challenges, and we can all learn from each other how to apply those to our businesses. So thanks very much for today.
Good job. Excellent. I'm going to move this here. Thanks. So I appreciate you doing that, Peter. You see, are you starting to get an idea of why we're here today? Is it a little different than when you came in? Anybody think that this is now a little bit different than when you first started? What did you think it was going to be when you first started? I'm just curious. What did you think it was going to be?
I guess really I had no clue. You know, walking in, business cards flying around, you know,
Sure.
shaking hands, patting people on the back. You know, I really had no idea. But quickly realizing it's about giving. You know, I mean, we're that's what I'm learning more is to give more, and not really to give to get, but in essence that's what happens. You know, is providing value to other people and what you value from that.
Absolutely.
The other, to piggyback on that, is to be open to receive what other people are saying. I think oftentimes when you're in a group like this, people tend to shut down because they get embarrassed or afraid, and it's coming into a group and saying, I'm going to be open to learn.
Right. Exactly. I appreciate you sharing. Anyone else? Yes, Ed?
When I first came here, I had the impression that everybody was here to get business, not give any suggestions to help someone else. And I think I have found it's a little bit different than that. And one thing I'd like to say to all of you, in order to succeed, have faith in yourself. Because if you don't, then no one's going to have any trust or faith in what you offer. Okay, but believe in yourself, because he who does not believe in himself definitely will fail.
Good words. Thank you. Appreciate that.